Hello students, welcome to the class. Today we'll discuss about restriction endonucleases. Especially we'll discuss about the different types of restriction enzymes, and what are the types of restriction enzymes, what are exonucleases and what are endonucleases, how they do their activities, and what are the needs of all these restriction endonucleases, where these are extracted or these are constructed or what, and what are the uses of all these restriction endonucleases. Okay, so let's have a look. See, restriction endonucleases, these are also known as molecular seizures. Why these are known as molecular seizures? Because in the molecular biology background, in the laboratory techniques, these restriction endonucleases, these are used to cleave the DNA at a particular sequence, and this sequence is known as the recognition site for a particular restriction endonuclease. Okay, so come to the restriction enzymes. Exactly what are the restriction enzymes and why these are known as restriction enzymes? These enzymes are the nucleases which cleave the DNA at a particular sequence, at a particular restricted site. So these enzymes are of two different types. They may be exonucleases or endonucleases. The exonucleases, they cut the DNA from the periphery region, towards the periphery sites or towards the end regions of the DNA. Whereas the endonucleases, they cut the DNA from the interior sites, and in both of the cases they maintain a particular recognition site. Means they cut at a particular recognition site. And what are the types of restriction endonucleases also available? We'll discuss that. Okay. So see here, what are the restriction endonucleases? We have discussed that these are the endonucleases which cut the DNA interiorly at restricted sites, and these restricted sites are known as the recognition sites of that restriction endonucleases, also known as molecular seizures. Okay. Then first restriction endonuclease, it was HINE2. It was HINE2, and HINE2 restriction endonuclease, it is having the recognition sites of 6 base pair palindromic sequence. It is having a 6 base pair palindromic sequence, and in that palindromic sequence only it will cut the DNA. Okay, so mostly the recognition sequences of restriction endonucleases, they vary from 4 base pair region to 8 base pair palindromic sequences. Okay, so more than 900 types of restriction endonucleases are now available, and these are extracted from 230 strains of bacteria. And these more than 900 restriction endonucleases, these are used in the RDT, means recombinant DNA technology procedures. Okay, and these are extracted from the 230 strains of bacteria, means these are naturally available enzymes which cleave DNA from the interior regions, interior recognition sequences. So why these restriction endonucleases are available inside the bacteria? What is the need of this type of enzymes to be available inside the bacterial cells? See, the bacterial cells, they are having such restriction endonucleases just to prevent the infection of bacteriophages. Bacteriophages are the viruses which infect bacteria. Okay, so and the bacteriophage, when it infects the bacteria, then it inserts its genetic material into the bacterial cell. And the genetic material of virus, it causes infection. It merges with the nucleoid or the chromosomal DNA of bacteria, and it takes over all the charges of the bacterial cell. And if it is a lytic or lysogenic virus, then after it kills the bacteria or not. Okay, so depending upon that, but just to prevent the bacteriophage infection, the bacterial cells, they are having these restriction endonucleases so that they can cleave the foreign DNA of the viruses, and after cleaving the foreign DNA of these bacteriophages, there will be no infection more. Okay, so these are one type of protection of the bacterial cell, and these restriction endonucleases, they are now available. These are extracted from different types of bacterial cells, and these are utilized in our molecular biology background. Okay, so each restriction endonuclease, it is having a specific recognition sequence. In a particular recognition sequence only, or just far apart from the recognition sequence, the restriction endonucleases, they work. They cleave the DNA, both the strands of DNA. Okay, they may produce the blunt cuts, means at a time in the same position they cut the DNA, both of the strands, or they produce the staggered cuts or the hanging cuts, in which hanging ends of the two strands of DNA are there. Okay, so they maintain a recognition sequence, and most of these restriction endonucleases, they maintain the palindromic sequence of 4 to 8 base pair region, and repeatedly these type of palindromic sequences are available inside the DNA. So as they get the number of palindromic sequences of the same, then they cut the DNA into many pieces. Okay, so this is the role of these restriction endonucleases. Then nomenclature of restriction endonucleases. How these restriction endonucleases, these are named based upon what? Depending upon what the restriction endonuclease, these are named. Okay, so first letter of the enzyme, the restriction endonuclease, it comes from the genus of the bacteria from which it is extracted. Second and third letter, it is from the species name of the bacteria. Then the next naming is based upon the strain of bacteria, from which type of strain of that particular bacteria it has been extracted. And there will be a Roman numbering also in the restriction endonucleases, and it is based on the order of isolation. Means in which order this restriction endonuclease, it has been isolated from the bacterial cell. Okay. Example, it is EcoR1. It is the most common and mostly used restriction endonuclease in case of gene cloning or recombinant DNA technology. This EcoR1, it is isolated from Escherichia coli bacteria. So E is from the E. coli bacteria, E. coli RY13. RY13 is the strain. So come to the nomenclature, how it is named. From Escherichia, the first letter it has been taken. From coli, CO, the second and third letter of the enzyme is from the species. And R1, R is from the strain. Strain is RY13. This is the strain of the bacteria from which EcoR1 was extracted. Okay. So RY13, from this strain name, this R has been taken. So EcoR, and 1, this is the Roman numbering. It is based upon the order of isolation. Means this is the first enzyme isolated from the E. coli RY13 strain. Okay. So restriction enzymes, just I have also discussed about, these are of two different types, exonucleases and endonucleases. Exonucleases, they cleave the DNA from the peripheral region, from the 5' or 3' ends of the double stranded region. They will remove the nucleotides. How the restriction endonucleases, maybe exonuclease or endonuclease, how they cleave? See, they just break the phosphodiester linkage between the nucleotides. The 3', 5' phosphodiester linkage, it is broken by the enzymes, these restriction enzymes. Okay, and exonucleases, they remove the nucleotides from the peripheral region, whereas the endonucleases, they cut the DNA from the interior region. Then this type of restriction endonucleases, they may produce the blunt or staggered cut. Blunt ends, just I have also told, if both of the strands of the DNA, they are cut in the same position, then this type of restriction endonuclease will produce blunt ends without any hanging ends. And staggered cutting means what? Supposed to be, we'll take the example of EcoR1. EcoR1, it is having the 6 base pair palindromic sequence as its recognition sequence, and this 6 base pair palindromic sequence is like this: GAATTC, and the complementary strand must be having CTTAAG. Okay, and this EcoR1 restriction endonuclease, it cuts one strand in between this GA and another strand in between this AG. Okay, so there will be what? Staggered cut. Hanging ends of the DNA will be available after having what? Cleaving with the EcoR1 enzyme. So this restriction endonucleases, they will produce two different types of cuts. Some of the restriction endonucleases, they cut the DNA producing the blunt ends, and some of them, they cut the DNA by producing the staggered or sticky ends. And mostly the enzymes which cut the DNA producing the staggered or sticky ends, this type of restriction endonucleases are used in case of gene cloning, because these staggered or cut ends, these staggered or hanging ends of the DNA will be easy to ligate during the recombinant DNA preparation. During the recombinant DNA preparation, two DNA molecules can be merged easily due to the overlapping staggered ends. Okay, staggered ends. Okay. So discovery of all these restriction endonucleases, come to the discovery. Werner Arber, Hamilton Smith, and Daniel Nathan. These three scientists in the 1970s, they have discovered all these different types of some of the restriction endonucleases from different strains of bacteria. Okay, and nowadays about 900, more than 900 types of restriction endonucleases are available, and these are extracted from 230 strains of bacteria. Okay, then come to the types of restriction endonucleases. What are the types of restriction endonucleases available, and how these are categorized based upon what features? Okay, so type 1, it cleaves in a distance position from the recognition sequence. Based upon the recognition sequence, it will work, but it will not cut at the recognition site. it will cut the DNA in a distant position from the recognition sequence. And this type of enzymes, they require ATP for the action and S-adenosylmethionine for functioning, and they are also having methylase activity. Okay, so type 1 restriction endonuclease, it can cleave the DNA and it is also causing methylation in the DNA molecule, and it requires ATP and S-adenosylmethionine. Then come to the type 2, it is the mostly used restriction endonuclease in gene cloning or RNA technology. It cleaves within the recognition sequence. This is the first feature of this type 2 restriction endonuclease, which is due to which it is mostly used in case of gene cloning. And it requires only Mg++ ion, nothing else. It only requires Mg++ ion for its functioning, and so it is mostly used in case of gene cloning. Okay, in gene cloning what is done? Maybe any type of vector like plasmid, it is linearized and the desired gene, it is extracted and it is multiplied, and with the help of PCR technology, and this desired gene, it is ligated with the linearized plasmid to make the recombinant plasmid. So in this case of gene cloning, mostly the type 2 type of restriction endonucleases are used because they cut at a particular recognition sequence which is known to us. Okay, then type 3 restriction endonucleases, they also cleave but not at the recognition sequence. They cleave at short distance. This first one long distance, and this one it cleaves the DNA at short distance from the recognition sequence, and it also requires ATP, S-adenosylmethionine. Okay, then type 4, this type of restriction endonucleases, these enzymes they target the modified DNA. They don't act upon the normal DNA. They are acting upon the target modified DNA. Example, the DNA may be methylated or hydroxymethylated. Then only this type of restriction endonucleases, they will take their action. Okay, so out of these 4 different types of restriction endonucleases, type 2 of restriction endonuclease, it is mostly used in case of gene cloning or the recombinant DNA technology, or it is used in the genetic engineering procedures. Then what are the uses of these restriction endonucleases? Overall, we have already discussed that these restriction endonucleases, these are naturally available inside the bacteria just to avoid the bacteriophage infection, so that the bacteria can protect it. The bacteria can be protected from the bacteriophage action. Okay, and second one means manually or human, we are using these restriction endonucleases in the laboratory condition for the molecular biology purpose for gene cloning. Gene cloning means we can insert a desired gene into any of the host organism. The host organism may be bacteria, maybe any of the animals or plants, by using different types of vectors. Already in the last class we have discussed about the different types of vectors, and in the previous classes also I have discussed about the gene cloning procedure, the total gene cloning or RNA technology or genetic engineering procedure. Okay, so thank you for watching, and just share and subscribe my channel for the upcoming videos. Thank you.